As I was watching the first 4 episodes of Full Dive, the ultimate next-gen Full Dive RPG is even crappier than real life. Man, that title. I quickly realized this writer really likes to break the norms, find something that's standardized, and really just tear it apart. And quickly I realized that the writer was the same writer as Cautious Hero, and that kind of gave a lot of credit to it. This is a writer that loves to take the norms and really mess with it. But this is my impressions on the first 4 episodes, so let's jump into it. Full Dive is a series that follows a guy named Hiroshi, and Hiroshi is getting excited about playing a just releasing Full Dive VR MMO RPG. And as he was trying to find a place to buy it, he realized that he does not have enough money. He gave some money to some bullies, and so he's short on cash. When he goes to some random shop on the side of nowhere, he ends up finding this lady, Riona, who runs the shop, offers him a different game, and this game ends up being Kiwame Quest. And Kiwame Quest is a failed VR MMO that released a long time ago, and the reason that it failed is that people hated the fact that it was trying to go for too much realism. It's so real that when you feel pain in the game, you feel pain, actual pain. There's a bunch of like restrictions placed on the game. It just... everything about it isn't fun because it's too real. And as we know, at some point you get too real, it's no longer a game. It's no longer fun. But anyways, he jumps into this VR MMO game and quickly starts the first kind of opening sequences where he meets his 2 childhood friends, his friends Alicia and Martin. And at some point while he's conversing with them, they come to a kind of a tussle between him and Martin, and he accidentally kills Martin. And this starts his adventure in this world, which is not really a fun adventure because now he is a killer. He killed this guy that everybody's seen was this NPC, technically. This NPC that was in this particular world and setting was a good guy, and so he's branded a murderer, and now everybody's chasing after him. And again, he's learning about the fact that there's pain in the world, there's exhaustion. Essentially, your character itself can be restricted by your own physical capabilities. So if you're, overweight, you're going to be overweight in that world, and you're not going to be able to run in very quickly. All that kind of stuff. So it's like, in order to beat this world in this game, you almost have to like be physically and smart in the real life because, again, it's so realistic. And that's kind of been the gist so far. Like I said, he's been fleeing from the childhood friend girl who is the sister of Martin, and she is like madly in love with him as a character, and so she's just seeking the yandere love romance thing where she's going to kill him and then kill herself. And at the same time, every now and then he's joined with Riona, who is that store clerk. She is in this world. She really loves it, and she wants him to love it. So she's constantly trying to push him to keep playing it, even though he hates it. He's been taken in and interrogated by this crazy sadistic lady. And then we kind of learned a little bit of backstory about Hiroshi, who in the past, he was a really good runner. And as he was being basically spotted by a bunch of scouts and everybody was watching him, he failed to take off on this one sprint run. He fell, and then he wet himself, and then he became basically a laughing stock. And this has kind of affected him going forward, as he never wants to run again. He's embarrassed, and he just doesn't put a lot of effort into really anything. He just plays games all the time, which we quickly realized is the thing because his sister is very disappointed in him. She looked up to him. She was always bragging about him and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the gist so far, just really kind of pointing out how ridiculously crappy this game is. Not quite sure why this guy keeps playing it, but he does. But my thoughts on the series so far, I'm very intrigued by the concept. I really do like this idea of a VR MMO game that's not a trapped end game. He does get trapped in there, but it's because he's usually kind of initiating a quest or an event, and he's not able to log out during that event. So he's had a couple times where he's kind of temporarily locked into the game. But for the most part, it's not a trapped MMO game, but it has the trappings of that. The fact that he does feel pain, he does get harmed. Not that he gets harmed in real life, but he feels the pain, he feels the harm, and the restrictions and the limits of this world that is put on him, and his frustration towards that. The odd thing is I never really understand why he keeps playing it. that's the oddity that keeps going there. I mean, they are kind of right now pushing an idea of him quitting on things and that he doesn't want to continue to quit, and that he's finding some kind of escapism in this world, at least with Riona pushing him, or at least enticing him with her body. But it doesn't really give much of a credit to why he keeps playing it, even though he really hates it. And that's the kind of the weird thing about it. But I'm intrigued by the concept of it. I'm intrigued by the concept of this world that sucks so much and has all these stupid restrictions on it, and the tropes that it plays off of based on that idea. Like I said, that's what the writer's really good at. It was the same with Kasha's Hero. It's the same with this. It's just this concept of taking the norm and really just bending it to all get. I think my only really sticking point is I don't really like any of the characters. I don't like the character designs. I don't like the characters. And that's really becoming a huge sticking point for me. Hiroshi is a winebag. I really don't like him as a main character. He's a jerk. Riona, I really don't like her character design. Way too endowed. She is fun. I love her seiyuu. That's the only struggle point there. I love her seiyuu. She's absolutely fantastic. Alicia, I've never cared for the yandere character. She's way left field, over the top yandere character, and I never really cared much for that. Again, some of the other character designs are terrible, like the interrogator. I don't have her name right up on my screen, so yeah, I'm struggling with the characters. I really don't care much for any of them. I'm more intrigued by the concept and the world itself. It's entertaining in that way. It's not fun. It seems to be way overly, I guess, painful and unsettling. His history was unsettling. All that kind of stuff is just kind of putting this in a grim light of the underdog, and I'm sure that that'll probably come to a nice payoff at some point, but right now, like I said, I'm just really kind of stuck on the concept itself, just the idea that this is a really crappy game, really overly realistic, and kind of the shenanigans that will come from that. So I'm definitely sticking with it. I really love Light Tachihi's other work, which was, again, Kasha's Hero. So I'm sure I will still end up loving this. It's just so far, it's trying to be funny, but it's not. I guess, like, they have this, like, right when he initially kills him, it's like, whoa, okay. I mean, it's an NPC, but still, it was kind of painting it as like, oh, he did something really bad right there, and this is kind of unsettling. And then suddenly it turns into him being chased by a yandere character, and it's got like this goofy music playing. I'm like, I'm not laughing at this. I'm not sure what you're going for here, but like I said, it's intriguing. So I definitely will keep with it. It's just so far is kind of, the comedy's not really hitting at all, really, for me, and that's the sad part, is that it has a lot of comedic points, but it's never really setting. It's definitely going for dark humor, like this concept of violent and gruesome, but for comedy's sake. So keep that in mind. If you really like dark comedy, you're probably really gonna like it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it so far. It's doing well. It's got an intriguing world, an intriguing concept rather. But just the characters and the comedy isn't really hitting technically for me. So we'll see going forward. But that's my thoughts on the first 4 episodes of Full Dive. I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions of it. If you did, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I thank you all for watching, and y'all take care.